If a Tree Falls.
Written by Chris Allen.
If a tree falls in the middle of a forest and no one is around, does it make a noise? That's what my Lieutenant Colonel Dooker asked, with a chuckle as we sailed across the sky. I guess he sits to my eye roll because he chirped, "Relax, Buck. Once we hit Sector 4 and throw these overgrown toothpicks into a wood chipper, we are paid, man. I mean, really paid. 50 large. Do you know how far that kind of shilling goes on Pluto? We will be kings and live off the lush mountains. Look, Duker, wake up and smell the Liptonian coffee, brother. We are on official Jazarian business. We took an oath, and by Jeebers, I intend on keeping it. As we sailed on into the silence, I almost nodded off and let autopilot pull most of the voyage. But suddenly, there was a rush of cold air, and Duker cried his final cry before the willow men chomped him with their sharp barked teeth. I went for my space revolver, but realized the bullets would be likely to chase me around the metal shell of the ship. So I decided to charge both the willow men, which led them to thrash me about the cockpit before I went into the cold darkness of sublime death. The next thing I knew, there was a loud crashing and heat. Oh God, I'm burning. I look around through the flowing blood. A deep cut is across my forehead. I see one of the willow men crushed and burning in the ship's wreckage. Christ, we have crashed. Where are we? And more importantly, where is the willow man? I stumbled to my feet and exited the wreckage to discover we're in the Three Seas National Park on Pluto. We are surrounded by trees, and I'm supposed to hunt and destroy a willow man? A man literally made totally of wood. The only luck I'd have is it's wounded in thick brown syrup. It gives me a trail to follow, at least. Now I enter the wreckage again and desperately search for a space revolver or a laser saw. Just by luck, all were destroyed in the wreckage. I find a flaming piece of metal and I fashion it into a sharp sickle-like tool and set off on pursuit. I follow the trail to a stream. Then I hear a low chattering in the bush nearby. I charge blade first into the bush, and I'm poised to deliver a death blow when I see it. It's a small boy, covered in the willow man syrup. The boy begins to speak, but the willow man charges me and tackles me into the running stream as the termite-ridden beast took a huge bite into my nose. I'm fading fast because the beast has took my nose, and I'm gasping mouthfuls of water with each breath. Just as I think I'm a goner, the willow man shrieks in pain and loosens his grip. I take one last shot and sink my giant fingers into the willow man's eyes and don't stop until I feel his wet brain roots in my grasp. I use all of my might and pull his brain roots straight out of his eye sockets. The willow man crashed to the rocky bed of the stream, stiff and lifeless. The sobbing boy and his dad helped me out of the stream, and I explained to the dad and his teenager who dreams of being a major league pitcher who nailed the beast with a stone to make it let me free. The three of us head back to their campsite to radio for the space authorities. As I'm getting bandaged up by the boys, man, I can't help but to think they do make a sound when a tree falls in the woods. They definitely make a sound.